Page 112, Riverboat Boogie. On page 111, they're introducing you to half steps. I screwed up. I thought you already knew what a half step was because I already talked about them briefly in another video without really explaining what they were. Let's keep it simple. A half step in our harmonic system we use here, in the Western harmonic system, is the shortest distance between any two notes. On a piano, it is the next note up or down, white or black. The next key up or down, white or black. It doesn't matter what the key signature is, forget all that. We're just talking notes on the piano. You got black notes and white notes, and we're dealing with those. So if I take any note, and I'm going to go a half step up, I just go up to the next note, white or black, which would be this note. It's the next note up. It doesn't matter if it's white or black, it's just the next note up. Same thing going down. I go down a half step. If I'm here and I want to go up a half step, I go here because there's nothing in between. It is the next note. If I go down a half step, I go here. That's half steps. That's all they are. They're the basic building blocks of everything. Okay, we can talk about intervals by half steps. I already said in an earlier video, confused you probably, about we were talking about interval of a second. And I remember that it was a C and a B flat. And you're thinking, wow, why isn't this the second? And I'm saying because an interval of a second can be one or two half steps. One half step, two half steps. Because this is a half step and that's a half step. So that would be two half steps. And in case you're curious, two half steps is called a whole step. Two halves make a whole. It's a whole step. So a half step or a whole step, either one is an interval of a second. But we can figure out and understand a lot of things basically simply by how many half steps is it, because that works all the time. Now, let's talk this boogie thingy. Boogie woogie is another type of music. I like boogie woogies. They're fun. And they have a particular patterns that they follow. They'll show you one on 111. That's one pattern. And then this on page 112 is another pattern. All right, if you like doing boogie woogies and honky tonk and that kind of stuff, you're going to enjoy this. You might enjoy it anyway. I don't know. Let's look this over. It's 2 pages long, sort of. Treble and bass clef. We're in the key of C major. There's no sharps or flats. Make sure you do the C major scale. 4/4 time, we got accidentals all over. Well, when you're dealing with blues and jazz and boogie woogie stuff, accidentals are normal. You get a lot of them. So you take the right hand first and make sure we got all these accidentals worked out. You're starting here in the right hand. And it's 1, 2, 3, and then a B flat. I'm going to use that 4th finger on it. Bring the thumb down. So really we're in this position here. The thumb's down here. And then during the rest in the second line, you come down 1 3rd finger again. I don't like this. Let's talk about it. This is the last measure, second line. You have. If you have smaller hands and skinnier fingers, this is not a problem. It's fine, do it. You just slide up into here and you play it. Because the thumb is a short finger, you got to get closer to it. And then come back out. Don't stay up here, come back out. If you've got big hands and fat fingers, you don't fit up in here very well. If that's the case, you just reach down. Here, in fact, if you want, when you reach down, you can come down and play 5th finger. Because you're going to need to be in this position anyway. So I'll leave that up to you and the size of your hands, what you do. And then going the last 2 measures of page 112, it's here. It's a D and an E flat. So you just spell out the chord. It's ugly looking, but the flat sign is on the line, and that's in front of the E. So it's an E flat. So it's a D. So that's a half step. Oh, wonderful, didn't it? The top of page 113, they give you an E natural. You don't need the natural sign. It's a natural anyway, because the flat in the previous measure is only good for that measure. But it's called a courtesy sign. There at the top of page 113, the natural. They're doing it just to be clear, just to make sure you understand. Make sure you play an E natural here. That's fine. Doesn't hurt anything. It's just not needed. And then you come up and do that again. Well, this fun. Going on, second line on page 113, second measure. 1, 2, crossover. That's fine, because we got to be down here with thumb going on. And again, a third line, you don't need the natural sign. It's a natural anyway, but it doesn't hurt having it there. Then going on, you're back up here. Last line is an E flat. And that's tied for almost 3 measures. And then this ugly thing at the end. Goodness sake. Well, spell out the chord. That's what we do. Never mind the fingering right now, just get the notes. We have a B flat, and we have a D in the middle, and we have an F sharp. You can guess what this is going to sound like. Well, that's blues for you. I think it's supposed to sort of sound like a riverboat horn. They say fingering it is 1, 3, 5, and that's fine if you've got small hands. You can fit up in here. If you can't, then you might try a 2, 4, 5. You can do a 2, 3, 5. I prefer 4 to stay out here. So I'll leave that up, the fingering to that up to you. Left hand, well, we have this boogie pattern here, one of them, and you need to know the names of these notes if you're not. It's a C, and then a D sharp, E, and G. And the fingering in the book's fine. Just get this all over. C position. At the bottom line on page 12, you get the same pattern in F position here. Okay. Go to page 113 in the second line, you get the pattern again, but now it's in G position. See, we're using the primary chords. Yeah. And then F position, C position. Okay. So we put the hands together. Well, the first line on page 12, they're only playing one hand at a time. In the second line, you're sort of playing two hands together, except the right hand just holding a G down. And in the last line on page 112, the right hand's just holding a G down. Okay. So really, you're only playing one hand at a time throughout most of this. So you work it out. No hesitations. Go slow as you need to is fine. And then as far as the articulation goes, well, you have choices. There's nothing marked in the left hand. You can connect it if you want. You just learn the right hand. Connect that. So you can experiment. Maybe you want to just disconnect the notes in the left hand. For a little variety. So both hands aren't the same. It's up to you. Or just connect them if you want. It's interpretation. You got to get into it. What do you like? What do you feel? One time I might play it one way and another time I might play it another. Dynamics, moderately soft for the left hand, or excuse me, moderately loud for the left hand and loud for the right hand. We want to hear the right hand. So. And then when you get top page 113, come down a little bit to moderately loud now. Yeah, and keep the left hand down a little bit. We want to hear the right hand is what I'm after. And then you end it loud there for the last line and a half or so is loud. Here. And then moderately soft for the chord. Don't overdo it. I don't want to speed, moderate boogie beat. Well, that doesn't mean a lot to me. It's just when you're used to playing boogie woogies, you hear a bunch of them. It depends on how much coffee I've had to drink. Just remember the natural accents. We want to 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to feel these natural accents all the way through. Now at the end they've added pedal again. And normally I would say if you're not going to use pedal anywhere else, don't put it on the end. But with boogie woogie, as in blues, it kind of helps. It changes the atmosphere at the end, and that's really what we're after. to changing the atmosphere. So I'm just going to push the pedal down right after I play the note. And I'm going to lift the pedal with the hands. And that's it for the pedal. I don't think I'm going to show the pedal because that's all they're doing, and I think you can handle that. If you want, you could put a little fermata on that chord at the end and hold that out a little longer. Let the horn go. Again, that's interpretation. Let's play it together slowly and double check our notes. I'm not going to do any dynamics, so just play it. Just checking notes is all we're doing here. The rhythm is not a problem. There are quarter notes all over the place. So I'll give us 4 counts.